What's up, everyone? Today, the stock market went absolutely crazy as the Federal Reserve increased interest rates yet again. And even if you missed today's move, don't worry. We're set to have a lot more volatility throughout the rest of the week. Make sure to stick with us all the way to the end of today's video. We're going to be going over the most important news you need to know about, some of the best setups in the market right now. And towards the end of the video, we have nearly $1 million trade from today that you won't want to miss. But Tom, let's get right into today's episode.
Yeah, Mike, it was an awesome day overall. And for anyone who wasn't on the live stream today, man, we saw a crazy move in the stock market. The S&P 500, whenever the interest rate decision came out, started dipping off to the downside and then actually started exploding back up whenever Jerome Powell started speaking. Mike, Jerome Powell was our Lord and Savior once again. He has came up clutch for us so many times in the stock market, and he pulled it off once again today. And like I said, the market was actually starting to fall down a little bit there, but he ended up, kind of coming in with a nice tone, reiterated that they're going to get inflation under control, or that that's their main goal, and that they're going to do everything they can to keep it this way. I will say, Mike, though, going into kind of some specifics onto what they did come out with the 25 basis point interest rate hike like we talked about, and this was highly expected throughout the stock market. And then we also heard him reiterate that they're going to keep rates. Well, they're going to keep doing rate hikes pretty much throughout 2023, at least for the most part, at least for the first half. They might start to look, obviously, a little bit at market dynamics if things change. But for the most part, they're seeing the rate hikes being sustained throughout the year. And that's good because it should keep pushing inflation a little bit lower.
Exactly. So just like you said, they came in with that 25 basis point rate hike, and the market definitely loved it. And I don't think what truly moved the market was necessarily a 25 basis point rate hike. I really think it was how Jerome Powell handled it. For the most part, he didn't say anything that scared investors, and he was actually pretty positive and optimistic about the future, which is always great to see, especially coming from the Fed chairman. So like I said, the market loved it. And looking at the heat map today, Tom, basically stocks from the whole market except for the energy industry exploded to the upside. ExxonMobil, Chevron, and a couple stocks like that tanked down, but basically everything else popped up. Tesla was up nearly 5% today. Nvidia popped up in a big way, and overall it was a very bullish day.
Yeah, it was. So many stocks were flying, like some notable ones, Mike, even from early in the morning, were AMD continuing off of those huge earnings from last night. That was a very nice continuation today as well. They ended up popping up 12%. Peloton is up 26% after their earnings yesterday. I mean, I know that 26% seems like a lot. Go look at Peloton's daily chart, though. There's actually still pretty low whenever you zoom out quite a bit, but this recent uptrend here is very, very nice. So yeah, we have been seeing a lot of awesome and bullish momentum throughout the market, and I think that we can see some nice continuations start to happen here. Like if we go to Tesla and we go out to the daily chart, you can see that there was a recent high right around 180, and we now are breaking that here at the end of the day. So going into tomorrow, I kind of feel like that if we continue to see these stocks breaking out, and if SPY continues to hold up above 410, which is a huge support level, I think that we can start to see even more bullish momentum and a nice continuation, especially when you look at the SPY on that yearly trend line, or I should say the daily chart with that trend line from last year. We were under this trend line through all of 2022. And I would say, Mike, I mean, this definitely is the sign of a more defined break now.
Yeah, so I completely agree with you in that sense. It's awesome to see not only the breakout, but the momentum that is associated with this breakout. It's not like we're seeing the stock market just slowly inch up. This movement is really eye-opening. So Tom, now I have to ask you a tough question. Looking at the SPY, we have a lot of positive momentum right now, but where do the next major resistance levels come into play? What levels should we look out for going into tomorrow and over the next couple of days and maybe even next couple of weeks?
Yeah, so 410, like I talked about, is going to be a huge support. That was a big level that we broke today. And I think that's going to be important for the next few days to at least hold 410. 400 even is going to be the bigger level, though. So if we're able to hold 400 even over the next few weeks, I think it's great. For an intraday play tomorrow, holding 410, I think would be a better play at 410. But just above here, Mike, I noticed that there's a few wicks on the 1 hour chart that are extending up really, really close to 415. So I'm also going to keep my eyes right around 415. Now you can give or take maybe 30 cents or so from here. But I will say that is a pretty big level. So if we continue to hold 410 for tomorrow, I'll watch for a push up to 415. And then after that, a push up towards 420. 420 is going to be awesome. And man, we all know how Elon loves that type of number too.
Yeah, no doubt. So you actually had basically the same exact levels I had for SPY. 415 and 420 to the upside are going to be pretty big levels. So definitely keep them close on your radar for resistance. But Tom, looking at the market right now, it's awesome to see this positive momentum. But now we have to look and ask ourselves, what is the next major event or next major events going forward? And that is none other than earnings, and we've had a lot of big stocks, a lot of market moving companies report earnings, and the end of this week is set to be a big one, to say the least.
Yeah, and I will say, if it ends up being as good as the other tech stocks this week were, I think it'll end up being a pretty good move. So we've already seen AMD report, and they're flying up. Meta reported, and they are up like 18% after hours. I mean, talk about a move there. Tomorrow, we have Amazon, Apple, Google, Ford, Qualcomm, and Starbucks in after hours. Now, as big as Ford, Qualcomm, and Starbucks are, I would usually say this is a huge day with just them on there. But we have Amazon, Apple, and Google, three of the bigger tech stocks in the market. And I will say, Apple is going to be my biggest watcher tomorrow, Mike. I can't wait to see what they report as far as demand for their iPhones. I can't wait to see the revenue and everything like that. I know Google and Amazon are going to be right behind them, though.
Love to see it. So just like a minute ago, you hinted at Meta stock booming in after hours. What's going on with this one?
Yeah, this is insane here. Look at this pop from 150 pretty much on the break today, all the way up to 182 here in after hours. So, Mike, this was an insane earnings report. So honestly, they're jumping up even more than I would have expected here with the earnings. So they beat on revenue with 32.17 billion versus a 31.53 billion expectation there. So they beat slightly on that. They beat on EPS, I believe. We go down, we look at the monthly active users. I will say there was a bit of an error here. Came in at 2.96 billion. They actually missed the expectation on here. So light CNBC up in the comments, guys. That would make me laugh. But their average revenue per user, Mike, even beat, which was nice. And their daily active users got to 2 billion. I mean, Mike, can you tell me many other platforms that have 2 billion daily active users? I mean, I don't think many people can.
Yeah, I mean, that's where Meta is really a powerhouse. I know a lot of people say that, they don't, like they want to quit Facebook and all that stuff, but, Meta is definitely the player just in, I guess you could just say like the social media business. Of course, some of their bigger apps are Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and, they have some other pretty big companies under their, Meta Platforms parent companies. So to say the least, they are a powerhouse. And what I thought was interesting with this earnings report is that their sales for the fourth quarter is actually down 4% year over year. But the thing is, they just beat on the revenue expectation, and that's where the stock boomed up. So that really made me happy to see, as like even though their sales are declining a little bit, they're still beating market expectations. And what really set the tone with this earnings report is they actually authorized an extra $40 billion, not 40 million, but $40 billion for their stock buyback program. So that is literally $40 billion worth of buying pressure directly going into Meta stock, and the market definitely loved it.
Yeah, we've been seeing this happen quite a bit lately with other companies doing share buybacks as well, and it's been helping them boom up too. So I'm glad Meta did this. It's really helping them start to move up. I also saw that Zuckerberg said that there was some good growth with Reels and also their AI discovery engine, which sounds nice too. And they said 2023 is the year of efficiency for them. Now, I know that they've been investing a lot into the metaverse. We don't really know what they're working on. There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and it's nice to see them still doing well, even with all of these big investments and stuff into the metaverse.
You know it. So now I want to get into some good plays for tomorrow. Tom, one stock I'm watching pretty closely is Peloton. You talked about this one just a couple minutes ago, and it is one of the stocks that is moving up in the most powerful way today, actually. So they reported earnings, and they've just been booming to the upside. Essentially what happened is Peloton over the past couple of years literally fell off a cliff. They had all-time highs right around $170 back in the beginning of 2021. They went all the way down to $6.66, which is kind of a scary low right there. But anyways, now they're all the way back to $16 a share, right? So they've had a wild past couple years, to say the least, and they're actually starting to move with a lot of great momentum right now. Their CEO had some pretty optimistic things to say, and they also reported better than expected revenue. So while Peloton isn't necessarily like, a stock that I just love and a company that I just love, this short-term volatility cannot be ignored because they're just moving a lot. So going into tomorrow, right now it's definitely looking like they have a lot more upside momentum than they do downside momentum. But either way, going into tomorrow, this stock looks like it's set to move in a pretty big way, and it has some tough resistance right around 17. So I think there's two ways to play this one going into tomorrow. Let's say we see a rip right through 17, that'll present an awesome opportunity for calls, assuming that the momentum is solid. And at the same time, let's say the market slows down tomorrow around open and 17 proves to be a tough resistance. You can also buy puts right at that level for a quick day trade as well.
Yeah, you definitely can. Definitely watch that for resistance, Mike. I know that I think that 17 will end up being a huge level, and I know that Peloton is going to get a lot of volatility probably over the next couple of days with their post-earnings moves, and we've been seeing a lot of these stocks have some pretty nice post-earnings reactions, so I'll definitely be watching them. That was actually one of the most craziest daily chart candles that I've seen, Mike. I mean, that daily chart candle today on Peloton, it was just so explosive. I don't know if there's any other stocks that were up that much. It's definitely leading my watch list at 26%. My first one's actually going to be Zoom, which also has a lot of momentum, especially at the end of the day. So they're not really moving off of recent earnings, or at least not earnings from yesterday, but they are having a pretty good move here. And I like this resistance at 78.50. So if we start to break that tomorrow, I will be watching this for a play to the upside. And Mike, we actually recently had some big money put some, it looks like $4.28 million into the Zoom 70 strike calls for June 16th of 2023. So that even gives me more confidence with it. And I'll tell you what, ever since they put this in down there on the 26th, this stock has been rocketing. There's been nothing but green days since then.
Don't you love following those smart money plays? Sometimes the timing on them are just a little bit too coincidental.
Yeah, it's kind of sus. I mean, that is coincidental. Who knows? Sometimes we actually end up hearing of some investigations, with insider trading. Not all the time, of course, but I've heard of a couple crazy circumstances.
Yeah, without a doubt. Another stock I'm watching pretty closely for tomorrow is SE. So this stock has also had quite the wild ride over the past couple years. They actually have lows of $10 going all the way back to 2018. And then all the way in the end of 2021, they actually hit highs of $372. And they ended up falling all the way down to right around $40 a share in last year, 2022, and now they're right around like 69. So the situation with SE right now is that there's some pretty tough resistance right around $70 a share. If we could see a solid break above this with momentum with SE, this stock can definitely run higher, and it looks like the next major levels for resistance aren't until around like $80 to $82 a share. So there's definitely an opportunity with this one.
Yeah, I like this one too, and I really like that move today. I think it looks extremely bullish in the short term, and if we do start to break that, I think it can be an amazing day trade. And I will say there's so many stocks setting up for some good momentum breakout plays tomorrow that I just, guys, pay attention because some of these plays here are awesome. Keep SE on the radar. I love it. Another one I love, Mike, is DraftKings. As we all know, I can't forget them, especially on a day where they're up almost 10%. They're like in the top 5 or 6 stocks on my watch list today. So I can't forget to mention them. I really like this breakout on the daily. They have been kind of under a big trend line like the SPY was. And I'm glad that they're breaking out up above this now. And that today really showed me that there was a much more defined break here. Now, be a little careful. There is resistance around 17 and then 1750. So watch out for those over the next couple days.
All right, there we go. Well, it is now time for the momentum plays. With today's first one, we have TLRY to the upside.
Tilray, yeah, nice move here. End of day. If they can break out above 338 tomorrow, watch for some calls.
All right, with the next one, we have ASAN also to the upside.
Good old Asana, Mike. We actually haven't talked about this one in a long time. Go ahead and make them break out above 1670.
All right, with the last one, we have MSFT, and we need both directions.
Yeah, so Microsoft did have a pretty good move here. I like that extension today above 250. So if they could end up breaking out tomorrow up above right around that 255 resistance, then I'll go ahead and look at them to the upside. But if they end up falling back under 250, then I'm going to go ahead and look at some puts.
All right, sounds good. So we're watching Microsoft for a potential day trade to the downside tomorrow, only if it breaks below the level Tom listed. But we're also watching it for a potential day trade to the upside tomorrow, only if it breaks above that upper level. We're also keeping a close eye on ASAN and TLRY for potential day trades to the upside tomorrow, only if they break above those upwards levels. But it is now time for the big money trade of the day. There was $930,000 that went into the ONON 25 strike call options for April 21st of 2023. ON is a shoe company based in Switzerland, and the stock has been doing pretty well over the past couple weeks. This option is close to the money, but it is out of the money, and it has a little bit of time. For my traders out there that are not familiar with options, the main thing you need to know is that it appears that the smart money is longing these 25 strike calls, and if that's the case, the higher ON goes up, the more money that they will make in this scenario. Looking at this stock, the direction's been pretty good over the past couple weeks, but given the option strike price, this is not my favorite setup when it comes to big money trades. We cover at least one big money trade in every single video, and I definitely want to be honest when I don't think a setup is amazing. I don't think this one's bad, but it's definitely not my favorite setup out there.
Yeah, I don't know too much about this company, Mike, but I will say the setup, they're kind of in a range here. They're running into an area where there's going to be a lot of resistance. Now, as we all know, as stocks start to recover, eventually they're going to start breaking resistances. And I do like that the overall market's up and it's starting to move up kind of with the market. So if we do continue to see the market move, I think that this could end up being a good play to follow. But I'm kind of with you. It's running up into resistance. It's like right at the top of this range, which isn't my favorite. But then again, right now, I look at a lot of other stocks, especially a lot of these growth stocks, whether it be DraftKings or anything like that. They've kind of all been up over the past few weeks too. So I don't know. I like this setup in a way because it's about to break out, it looks like, but there's just some key levels here that it needs to, pass above, I think, and maybe show us some nice confirmation. If we do see rejections, then maybe they're shorting this, or maybe they have a bunch of shares and it's just a nice covered call.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess we'll see as the play progresses. But Tom, I want to really emphasize one thing with the market right now and just the situation that we have. So we're seeing a ton of stocks blast to the upside, whether it be AMD or Meta or DraftKings or basically any other stock out there. Going into tomorrow, it is crucial not to feel the fear of missing out and just dump all your money into some very bullish play. Looking back at the market over the past couple days, we saw a lot of great movement, but let's say tomorrow at open, the market is very weak and we're seeing a pullback or, just something changes, some new news comes out. You probably would not want me want to be loading up on call options. So I guess what I'm trying to say is going into tomorrow, be careful in the sense of not being overly greedy. I guess that's the way to put it. Yes, there's a lot of upwards momentum right now, but that does not just mean to blindly buy call options. Of course, you have to watch those key resistance levels and even support levels that we have in the market right now. And what I think is also very important is just getting a constant gauge on the sentiment of the overall market. So make sure to check out stocks like QQQ and SPY and Apple and Amazon and all of those other big market moving tickers to just get a gauge of how the market is moving.
Yeah, 100%. I love that, Mike, because I always do that whenever I'm trading. I'm always watching every big stock in the market. I'll be watching Apple, Tesla, Microsoft, and Amazon, and I'll be switching through them really, really quickly usually. And I'll be trying to see, kind of like where they're trending. Because a lot of times you can notice, like, for example, if like Apple or Amazon is starting to hit a big resistance or reject off of it, a lot of times, you'll end up seeing the SPY start to reject down a little bit, along with a couple other tech stocks. So I think that is a good point, Mike, really important. And yeah, just always be able to manage risk. Right now the market is pretty overextended, if we're being honest. Like whenever we look at the SPY, that was a huge move with Powell. So we just have to be really careful and manage that risk accordingly tomorrow. I think it'll be fun to find some momentum, but I don't think holding, I think that, maybe taking some smaller gains or cutting quicker tomorrow would be the way to go rather than, holding all day long and hoping for another huge day like this.
Yeah, so either way, I am pumped for the rest of the week. We saw a lot of great movement so far this week, and really the volatility and the big moves is probably only halfway over, because we have some giant earnings tomorrow from those powerhouses like Apple, Amazon, Google, and, you guys could say Starbucks and Qualcomm, just to name a couple of them. So I think it'll still be a very exciting rest of the week with even more opportunities. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. When you subscribe, you'll see our videos more often. And in every single video, we always talk about, the news in a non-biased way, and we try and give the best setups that we're seeing in the market, as well as following what the big money traders are doing. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Tom, do you have any final thoughts before we close out?
Yeah, it was a really nice day. Thank God Powell came in and saved us. It was looking actually really volatile before he came in, but hey, he put on his hero cape again, came in and came up clutch for the market. So let's go, Powell, guys. Let me know in the comments how you felt about the market today, and let us know if you had any nice gains. I'll be nice. It'll be nice to read some of them out there. I know that whenever I was live, there was a lot of nice ones, Mike. I saw a lot of people talking about some 100% plus winners out there. So let me know in the comments what you guys ran away with.
There we go. Also, I want to give a giant shout out to today's member of the day, DJ Morris in the StockedUp Discord group. You've been in the chat for a couple years now, and your activity has definitely been increasing in the short term over the past couple weeks. So definitely make sure to keep it up. It's awesome to have you in the chat. Besides that, guys, let's have an amazing rest of the week.